Now, back to the what reminded me is what I want to talk about now, which some people may look at it as controversial, but let's think about it. From what we read in Matthew 6, the Lord says, "Take heed that ye do not your alms before men to be seen of them. Otherwise ye have no reward of your Father which is in heaven. Therefore, when thou doest thine alms, do not sound a trumpet before thee, as the hypocrites do in the synagogues and in the streets, that they may have glory of men. Verily I say unto you, they have their reward." It means it's already they've already gotten their public reward or world reward. Or verse 3 says, "But when thou doest alms, let not thy right hand know what thy right hand doeth." So the left hand must know what the right hand, "that thine alms may be in secret, and thy Father which seeth in secret in himself shall reward thee openly." So the topic that I wanted to mention is that this is, I'm sure some people haven't thought about it. And there is something the government allows. It's called tax exempt status. And in the IRS, it's called 501c. It's 501(c), something like that. Anyway, it doesn't matter. But yeah, 501(c), something like that, which is to say that churches can make this application. And that application means that when a church buys supplies or anything, they will not pay taxes. So, which means the government gives churches, it's not a requirement though, but you may file for it, and our church, I haven't filed for it, and of course the church is registered with the government, with IRS, as a church, as an entity, as a religious organization, but I have not requested the 501(c), I think that is called exemption, which means that anytime I purchase something or the church purchases something, we get free. Also, it means that once you file for that number, you are controlled by the government. It means you cannot say anything political or anything against government. It means you are under the control of the government. You are many people have filed for it, and they say, "Oh, we are tax exempt and all that." And it also means that you are getting something from the government, where you are getting a tax break. And so even when you file taxes and all of that, and I've not gone deep into the tax so the question now is that if a church is depending upon God for everything, for membership, for spiritual growth from God, for everything, for the reward to come from God, but a church says, "I want to get a tax break from the government and also be hooked, be muzzled by the government," because it means that you cannot say anything political once you are on that thing. And that's why some churches cannot say anything about politics, that this government or that government or this you can't say that, "Oh, go and vote for Republicans or vote for Democrats or vote for this thing." You are muted. And you know what churches will do? They will say, "Oh, make sure you vote. Make sure you cast your vote. Make sure you vote, and they won't say vote for this or that, because when they say that, they are against the law. They can be reported, and the government will say that you're not supposed to say anything political because you are under that 5013C grade. So the question that one has to ask is that if you do that and you get yourself, you become a servant of the government, that the government controls what you say and what you don't say, is it scriptural? That's one part. The second part of my comment also is that Christians, what do? We are generous. Just as we are reading the Bill Gates. We give gifts. We make donations to people, to churches, to the poor, to United Way, to Salvation Army, to all of those things. We do that, and we've done that. And I must confess, what I'm saying, I'm confessing because I've done all of these things. And I've also done what I'm going to say against. So now the point is that when it comes to filing taxes, your income taxes with the government, IRS, Internal Revenue, if from what we read in Matthew 6, 1-4, God says, when you give, get your reward from God. Is it scriptural for Christians to give donations to the poor, to organizations, to others? And then when it comes to taxes, you ask government, I gave 10 million to this organization, so give me the money back. Is it scriptural? If God says, get your reward from God, why do we go to the government and say, government, I paid this money to, I donated, I made an offering from my heart to this organization, that organization, and so, but I want you to give me the money back. Is it scriptural? Again, as I've said, I have given before to organizations, and in the past, not now, in the past, I have claimed, so I'm confessed. That's why I want everybody to know that it's not something I have claimed that, oh yes, I give something to Salvation Army, I donated this to the Salvation, so the government should give me the money back. When we give something as a free offering to people because of God, why do we go to man and say, man, give me the money I gave to people?
Let me just make a comment on the first point you stressed on with the 501c. First of all, the 501c now related to the church alone. Any organization, once you get a bona fide rules and regulation, you can apply for the 501c, and it's a tax break. But majority of the time, it goes towards the church. But here comes in separation of power. We're talking about in this country where people have the freedom to do anything. The church usually speak against the ill in the society. It doesn't mean that if the government gave you a tax break, then you can speak against whenever the government does something wrong. That's not what the Bible says. You have to speak against the evil, right? So, just as you said, the church don't be mute on certain things. And sometimes they come and speak against the illnesses in the society. Two, the second point I want to stress is, from the time I came into the country, I know I went to back home, the war from one country to another, and I saw what people do. For the 10, 12 years I've been here, every month, I made sure I gave Salvation Army $10. And I got all the receipts. Every time I gave it, they write me say, thank you for the gift. I don't publicize it. And I don't claim it on my taxes because it's from the bottom of my heart. It got something to do for you. It depends on you, the individual. You understand? It depends on you, the individual. How are you giving free money to help the people you want to claim it? Then that's not God's blessing right there.
Oh,
So,
yeah. Thank you. Well, you see, the reason is that, again, as I've said, I am in the past. In the past, I've done it. But also, people have written to the church and said, the tithe offering that I've been given, can you give me all the total I've given because I want to claim it in the tax? It's been done. I mean, I have 100%. It's been, and it's been done. And this church, up to now.
Yeah, even to other churches, they ask
Yes.
the members what
Yes.
they want to
Right.
claim the church,
Right.
the taxes,
Right.
What does go? Why you?
I wanted to ask a question. Is it against the law not to file taxes or not to use your tithes to file taxes?
Is it against? No, say,
That is what some people told me. That's why I'm asking.
no, hold on.
The law, but it is not.
Somebody told me that if she gives taxes and she doesn't file with the taxes, it's against the law.
What the church-
No. Okay.
It's not your income. Tithe is not your income.
No, you don't get it. It's not about income, but they were saying in totality, whatever they do, whether
Okay.
you give money to this or they give. So that person was telling me that his church, in their church, I mean, when you give tithes, they'll give you a receipt. So
Yes.
that you file taxes.
Right. It is because they have that made. It is unscriptural. It is not scriptural for us to do. So the scriptures.
Is it against the law here?
No.
That's what.
Okay, what happens is that because the church has been set up that they don't want to be blamed. They probably have signed that they have the articles of things in place where they want to report to the government that, and they also have another organization called Evangelical. I mean, it's ECF also, which is an organization where they always account for every money they receive in the church. They want to make sure that we receive $10,000 and we've made an account for this. And so they want to make sure that anyone who gives, they know who gives what. And then at the end of the year, they also give you a statement that you paid $10,000 the whole year. So you can use that to get a refund from the government. But we're not supposed to do that. And so we have to realize that when our mind, our perspective is concentrated on following and obeying God's word, we should not claim anything that we have given to other people in the process of our Christianity or of our goodwill. Goodwill means it's from your heart. It's not the government who commanded you to give. It is from God's Spirit in you, giving you that wisdom that give. God says give. When you give, you are giving to God. When you, anyway, so it is a thing that we as a church, and not just us here, I mean all worldwide, and people should realize that when you write a check, that's why some people write a check. They want to write a check so that they will be able to keep account and say that at the end of the year they gave this thing, and so they are using that as taxes. And I'm praying that maybe I will repeat it when we get to New Jersey, because some of us still do it. They do it because they want to, claim it. And the scriptures is already clear. We should not be claiming, some people use this thing, I don't know if they say, robbing Peter to pay Paul. You know, they are all Christian, they are all serving God. So if you take it from this person and say, oh, here, it becomes a double sin. So there's so much that we need to really go deep into, and unfortunately, the devil has blinded us that we don't sit back to relax. We don't consider what we are doing, and we are just following the crowd. So taxes that we file are generally because of the income we have received from our pay, from our work. And of course, when you are individual and you are in business, if you start a small business, any money you receive, the government wants to tax you. You're supposed to pay taxes. If you don't earn any money as a business endeavor, then you don't have to pay taxes. But once you have a social security number and you are in business and the government knows your number, they expect you to file taxes. And of course, businesses pay 33%. So if you get $100, as your business, and you're supposed to pay 33%, some people are supposed to file every month, or sometimes every quarter, depending on what it is, or every year. So that is why at the end of when you work for a company, you complete W-4. It's a form which businesses give. It's actually an IRS form, W-4, and you file it, you write it, and your name, your social security, and also whether you are married or not married, and whether you are claiming yourself or claiming more, and then, and so each time you are paid, the employer will remove FICA, from it, and it's all based upon the fact that at the end of when you retire, the government will start paying you back, for your retirement, for all that you've contributed. They'll pay you a portion. So people get $1,000 every month because of that, of what they have filed. So now, the tax returns that you file is all confirming that you have received this whole amount for the year. And if you pay more to the government in the process of the number of exemptions that you claim, the government will refund the money back to you. And that's why people file taxes on April 15. You're supposed to file from January all the way. But if you are late, the tax. But anyway, once you do the tax returns, then you are showing to the government that this is what, and you either pay or the government pays you back. That's how it goes. So it is not so much, but in any case, we don't want to deviate. We've already deviated from what we are, but I hope and pray that the answers will be helpful.